Hello, everyone, and welcome to the How to Live a Joyful Life webinar. I'm so excited to bring this amazing masterclass to you guys to teach you the lessons that I wish that I had learned earlier in my life that have been so powerful on my journey, and I'm so excited to share them with you guys now. So my name is McPhee. I'm a joyful goddess. I'm a speaker, healer, and coach who loves to empower women through self-love and self-care to get to their dream happy lives, to be consistently living joyful, amazing, abundant, blissfully happy, amazing lives that they've been desiring, that they know that they deserve, and that they've just been grasping at, and they're trying to piece all these different things together and looking externally instead of taking the time and being guided in the correct way that they need to be internally to find their true power and to own their passion and their purpose and to trust their intuition and the guidance that they have to find the things that actually light them up and that work for them. So I'm so excited to be sharing this with you guys here tonight. And I know a lot of people were messaging me that they're going to catch the replay. I have 30 people who are signed up for this, so I'm really excited. So those of you who are catching the replay, I definitely want you to engage just the same as if you were on live, and I'll be watching the comments for a week or so after, at least, of the YouTube that I will upload the replay on. So I'm super excited to dive even into self-love and care with you guys tonight, into divine feminine energy. And yes, men have feminine energy too. Women have masculine and feminine energy. It's a both-sided thing, but it tends that the feminine energy is really suppressed and shut down. And I am definitely guilty of that. I used to be running around all day long in my masculine energy, and that was really helpful for me. So I've really enjoyed my life since shifting that and having that harmonious alignment and balance between my masculine and my feminine so that it works for me instead of me feeling always go, go, go and hectic and crazy and stressed out and overwhelmed. And that really wasn't helpful for me in my life. And we're also going to touch a little bit on intuition and how we can strengthen our intuition and different things like that so that it'll support you guys on your journey. So right now, those of you who are on live or catching the replay, I want you to write in the comments if you're excited to live your most joyful life, because the energy that you put into this is what you're going to get out of it as well. So definitely put in the comments that you're excited, or how excited you are on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited you are for your joyful life so that we can have some engagement going too. And I can kind of see where you guys are at. Awesome. Super excited. Woo. Love it. Love all the excited energy. And I'm tapping into not just the people who are on live, but also the people who are catching the replay. So I'm able to do that energetically because there is really no time or space with energy. So I'm connecting to everyone, whether you're live or not, to make sure that this is going to be the highest and best good for you, and that you'll be included in all the awesome healings and downloads, because we're also going to do some wonderful theta healings in this as well. And we're going to go over some muscle testing. So anyone who's new to me, I love using muscle testing and theta healing. It's a big part of the work that I've done on myself and that I've done with other theta healers, master theta healers that I've worked with. So it's been a huge part of my journey. It's what got me on my spiritual journey a couple years ago. So I always love explaining that to people, that it's dealing with your subconscious mind. So our entire mind's capacity, only 5% is actually conscious. So that's that tip of the iceberg that we're desiring, dream happy lives, amazing abundant future, financial freedom, laptop lifestyles, such joy and bliss and pleasure in our life. That's 5%, just the tip of the iceberg. So the other 95% is just beneath the surface, and that's our subconscious mind. So that's essentially been formed throughout our entire lives. It's influenced by past lives, and we're sponges when we're young, especially. So we, from ages 0 to 7, are little sponges, and that's where our blueprint of life comes. So it's awesome. We all learned our native tongue. So I learned English by osmosis. I didn't have to study it at 1 year old. You just start learning what your parents are learning around you. So we don't just, unfortunately, learn language. We also learn their limiting beliefs. So our friends and family and teachers and parents, we pick up their limiting beliefs of scarce mentality, self-hatred, self-doubt, low self-esteem, not good enough, codependency, unhealthy or toxic relationships. There's so many things that we learn at such a young age. And then it's that blueprint that we have for the rest of our lives. So we tend to notice that in our relationships, it's the same guy, different face. It's the same things happen over and over again in our career, in our life. On all levels, we'll be able to see those patterns. So I love theta healing because it can get to those roots of what was going on, why that started your blueprint, what limiting belief that you have, so that it can move you really quickly to closing that gap between where you're at and where you want to be. I also have a coaching background, so I love that it blended the most beautifully with it, because then I have all my coach training to get you from where you're at to where you want to be too. So this really dives deeply into the subconscious limiting beliefs that are there. And you can actually test really easily which limiting beliefs you have or not through muscle testing. And there's a bunch of different ways to muscle test. There's the standing way, there's the ones with your hands, there's 1,000,002 ways to muscle test, probably not a whole 1,000,002, but a lot of people like different ways. But I'm going to show you the one with the hands, because that's my favorite to use with people, because then you're empowered to do it yourself. You don't need like someone else to like push on your arm and see if it stays strong or not. You can be empowered to do it on yourself at any point in time. So the way you do it is kind of an imaginary $20 bill is between your thumb and your finger. Is how you're going to perceive it. So with this, it's just enough tension that if there was a light breeze, your $20 bill would stay there. So it's holding, there's some resistance there, but it's not like a workout where you're gonna like cut off your blood supply. That's not what we're doing here. So it's just thumb and finger together. And this works because your muscles know if you're saying a true statement to yourself, and it stays strong. And if you're lying to yourselves, your muscles are actually getting a little bit weaker, which allows it to break when we use our pliers for our statements. So you can start with, my name is Laura. So you guys can say your name at home. So my name is Laura, it stays strong. So you guys can try with your name. And if it breaks for that, just put a teeny bit more tension. And if it's not, like, we'll do it with the note for a second. So just make sure your name's right. My name is Laura, stay strong. And then my name is Jack for your false name, and it breaks. So you want to make sure that your yeses and your nos work for muscle testing, because we're actually going to do some healing downloads throughout this. And it's really cool to see what your original beliefs were and then what your beliefs are on the other side. So I really encourage you guys to do that. Make sure that you have a strong yes or strong no, and let me know in the comments if you're having any issues with that. People are usually pretty good with that. But if you're having any difficulties, you can also do the standing way. So you can all stand up if you want to learn a second way. Or if you're like, this is a little bit hard, I don't know if I'm doing it right, you can experience another way to muscle test. So I just want you to stand up, feet kind of hip width apart. You can shut your eyes and take a deep breath. And say out loud, show me a yes. And then notice how your body moves. And then you can do the same thing. You can get back to center, shut your eyes and take another deep breath. And say out loud, show me no. And then notice how your body's moving for that one. So a lot of people find that their yeses are moving forward, and a lot of people find their no's is moving backwards. But yours could be side to side. Different people have different ways. So just make sure that you know what your yeses and what your no's are. Yes, no, whichever way you'd like to muscle test. Awesome. So I'm also going to give you guys a little bit about my backstory for anyone who's brand new to me. I know a lot of people have heard, who signed up at least, that I was kind of checking through, have heard some of this story. So I'll give you the bridged version of my story. So I was always growing up as like a full-fledged people pleaser, perfectionist, workaholic. Like my parents had an in-home accounting business, so I was always working for them. Like at age 7, I started working for them doing like bookkeeping and like just basic like sorting of papers. And then I was doing some shredding, and then I was cleaning the office and like very basic filing stuff. So then like from 10 on, I was like, yeah, I can like do work. And like I learned how to like do data entry and like learned a bunch of accounting skills. So I continued that throughout my entire childhood. And I was also doing like 1,000,001 things for like Key Club and volunteering. And I was a Sunday school helper until I could have my own class in high school, and I was a Sunday school teacher, and I was always saying yes to everyone and putting myself on the back burner. I was going all the time, helping other people out so that I wouldn't have to look internally for my stuff. I was an empath without fully realizing it, and I needed to make everyone around me okay in order for me to even begin to start to be okay. And I was just filling my day with making everyone else okay and doing what I felt I needed to be a good little girl, to get gold stars, to be the straight A student, to meet all these identities that I thought would gain me acceptance and love. And that's what were my driving forces when I was younger. So I was also definitely a control freak. I wanted there to be a plan for everything. I needed there to be a plan for everything. I needed to like map out even small trips that I went on, like double checked everything, triple checked when I was like packing anything, like even for like little trips, like unnecessarily OCD about things. So there was a lot of subconscious beliefs that were forcing me to do that for safety, that made me feel good by doing that. But unfortunately, they weren't all serving me. And as I went through this journey of my life, I was able to release and let go of a lot of these because I was able to see truly how they were affecting me and that they weren't serving me anymore. It was like I was outgrowing this cage that I had built around myself, and it was really hurting me. So it just was time to let it go so that I could be free and expand into more joy and awesomeness in my life and have so much more freedom and abundance and like blissfully happy days and have the kind of lifestyle that I desire and that I get to live now. So in that process, I was a corporate accountant for a couple of years, and I was like following in everyone else's footsteps. I'd answer the question, how are you, with like busy, but good. And it was like, I was exhausted. Like looking back at it, I was so miserable, but without even like realizing how miserable I was at the time. Like I was working all the time. I was always putting off my friends because I wanted to get more letters behind my name, to get more designations and more promotions. So I was always studying for the next exam and the next certification. So those were really preventing me from dating, from experiencing a love life that I wanted. And I was always, always, always saying yes to people. I was doing things outside of myself, and I wasn't leaving enough space or time for my own enjoyment. So that led to like a breaking point where I really got into the spiritual community and the spiritual world with my theta healer and life coach. And she was incredible. She was able to like work her magic in like getting me out of my mindset of like, oh my God, everything has to be this way. And if it's not this way, then it's like, I'm going to lose my mind. Like it can't like not be this way. I need to like do 100% all the time. I was terrified to like miss any deadline. Like those were my worst case scenario plans. And in doing this work and doing personal development and being a huge seeker on this journey and listening to tons of audiobooks and podcasts and just gaining the support of so many light workers and healers and coaches and mentors and guides, I was able to completely shift from that lifestyle. I actually quit my corporate accounting job and I did a transition job for about a year until I was able to launch full-time into what I'm doing now. I was a happiness coach and healer first, and that was amazing. And I was so excited about that. And now I've up-leveled again into Joyful Goddess, and I'm doing this work on a much deeper level with people. So now I work with people who are like 10 out of 10 ready for transformation in their lives, because I don't drag people. I don't pull people along if they're not like ready for it. Like there's a time and place for people to do that and to help people who are like kind of more stuck in the mud. But now I'm like 10 out of 10 or more people who come to me and are like, I'm 12 out of 10 ready to like change my life and live the deep desires of my heart, because I know that everything in my dream happy life is for me. Like the desires that were put in your heart are 100% for you. They were put in there by your higher power. If you want to call that God, creator, source energy, the universe, source, whatever you want to call it in your mind, that was put in there for a reason. You have the unique vibration, the energetic code. You are like that unique fingerprint or snowflake that's meant to make all these desires happen. And I know that so many people who follow me are incredible light workers at heart too. So even if they aren't doing it out in the open, they might be like spiritually closeted, but they really, really desire the best life for themselves and the people around them and for the planet. So I encourage you guys to really own that, to know that everything that was put in you was there for a reason. And not only was it put there, the whole plan has been mapped out for you to get there in your life. It's not like you were given these desires to help millions of people just to like be really let down and disappointed and filled with regret. That's not what it's meant for. When you have those desires to do these things, it's for you to experience in this lifetime. Like I have such different desires than the next person and the next person and the next person. We all have very unique and individual ones. Obviously there's some overlap and we tend to attract our tribe. So those people tend to have a lot of similar ones, which is really awesome. But if you're listening to this here today, I'm sure that you have very like so many commonalities between the other people who are listening too. It's so interesting to me seeing this time after time, doing so many workshops, how like attracts like in all ways, that like the law of attraction is so real and who we attract into our lives at certain time periods and at certain events and all these different things. So I always love to acknowledge those synchronicities and to be like, it exists. And there's so many people out there, because there's definitely a lot of people on this journey who feel like they're alone, who feel like they don't have people they can talk to about it. And that's not true either. It's just you're at a vibration where that's your paradigm, that's your belief system, that's your reality. So you're only seeing this. Like there's this whole world out here for you, and your perspective is here because that's what you've always seen. I love to use the example with my clients that if I got you to look at the window, and I'm usually sitting by a window with my clients, and asked you to count all the cars that went by in the run of an hour, all the red cars, then I'd check in at the end of the hour and you can be like, okay, there was 50 red cars. You know that for a fact. You counted every single one of them. You didn't take your eye off the road. There was 50 red cars. But if I asked you how many green went by, you'd be like, I have no idea. Maybe one. I don't think green cars went by on the road. Even if 200 green cars went by, you wouldn't be able to perceive them because you're not looking for it. So that's the same way in our lives. There's so many doors of opportunities and gifts and synchronicities and people along our paths who are a 2 millimeter different off. So when we're walking through our lives like this, we're not able to see it and connect with it and walk through those doors of opportunity and see the abundance that's totally around us and available to us at all times. We just need to say yes to it. There's so much love around us all the time. And we as humans hurt and gone through hardships, and we're scared and we're in fear and we're in lack mentalities and scarcity beliefs. And we just create all these walls that are no longer serving us because it's preventing the love from coming in. We felt like it was beneficial at one point in time or another, but now they're not serving us. They're just blocking the love that's available to us. So I love helping people release those and let those go so that we can really, really step in to the amazing, incredible lives that we actually really deserve. So now I'm an entrepreneur. I do this full time, which is amazing. I'm able to be completely in charge of my schedule. This summer has been incredible. I was able to do hours and hours and hours and hours of self-care on myself every day, which was incredible to really fill up my cup to a whole new level and only give from that overflow and create whole new levels of boundaries on my time and my energy and what lights me up and working on those things. And it's incredible that the more I set those boundaries, the more life gives me more of what I'm desiring. It's not like I set a boundary and it's oh, you just closed yourself off. It's so important to understand and to have the belief that when you trust that intuition, and we're going to get into intuition a little bit later as well, that it's always working for you. This is never working against you. You're learning so many lessons on the journey, and there's so many just incredible experiences that you can have when you really trust yourself, when you say yes to love, when you set your intention every day to be more loving and peaceful and experience joy today and ask your higher power for that guidance. So I won't get too much into the intuition because that's a little bit later, but I definitely want to start diving into self-love, because I feel like that is the most important piece. It's so, so crucial, because when we love ourselves, we make time and space and energy for everything else, which is incredible, because the world has, unfortunately, people who are hurt and who are suffering and who aren't going through the best experiences, and hurt people are hurting people. And then we're hurting the earth, and there's all these negative ripple effects and consequences of that. But when we love ourselves and we take time to truly love ourselves and show ourselves that we love ourselves with self-loving care, with boundaries, with amazing support systems, and just everything that we can have in our life that we're desiring, we're able to be lit up human beings and hold space for other people and our friends and families and communities that need it from us. And we're able to just be that change we want to see in the world and light up the entire world, because the world needs it. And us literally loving ourselves shifts our vibration into a higher vibration. And just by you doing that, even if you're not talking to anyone, if you're in the middle of the woods, you changing your vibration to love and shifting into more love for yourself is actually contributing to shifting the vibration of the entire planet, because we're all connected. And you adding more love to yourself is increasing the love that the planet is experiencing. So I love that so much. And I love embodying that for other people and helping my clients get into that state as well. So I want to help you guys with that as well tonight too. So the foundational piece that I tell people time and time again, over and over and over again, so I'm sorry for you guys who've heard it before, is to say I love you to yourself in the mirror. So that's a very beginner step. And it can seem a little bit weird or funny at the beginning, but I promise you it'll be life-changing. So I encourage you to start that. So if you have your piece of paper and you like take notes, write down, say, I love you to myself in the mirror once a day. And I want you to commit to doing something about it. Because sometimes people watch these masterclasses and they're like, okay, learn things, but they don't implement. And I don't want that to be you. I want you to get so much value from this and to walk away feeling better about your life. So let's make the change right now and commit. So even if you guys have done it with me before and you kind of got off the bandwagon, I want you to commit, recommit right now to saying, I love you to yourself once a day. So if you're more a morning person, attach it to a morning activity in your routine, or if you're an evening person, do it then. So I want you to just start with that once a day for 21 days. And it actually reprograms your brain. So instead of looking at the mirror and nitpicking yourself and saying all the things that you feel are wrong with you that day, like I'm too fat, I'm too this, I'm too that, oh, my hair's poofy, oh, pimples, oh, this or that, oh, my makeup's doing this. Like instead of having those thoughts, you're retraining your brain to I love you so that you can love yourself and create more space for loving yourself in your life. And over the years, I've been able to completely shift that and also add in affirmations. So if you guys have done this before and you want to add the affirmation piece, I really encourage you to do that. So I say, whenever I see my reflection in the mirror, and I use the bathroom and see my mirror every time I go to pee, like there's regular breaks in the day where I just say, I love you to myself automatically. And I love you. I'm absolutely incredible. I deserve outstanding things. And you guys can add in, I'm beautiful, I'm radiant, I'm powerful, I'm courageous, I'm confident, I'm intelligent. I'm here now for the best things in life. Whatever you're desiring as your affirmation, you can add that in. And for affirmations, I also love to put Post-its up so that it gets a little extra reminder. But definitely add in your new habit with something that you're already doing habitually. That's how you can really cement in new habits, is because they become attached to something you're already doing so that it's easier for your mind to think of than a just random thing where you're like, oh, it's the middle of the day and I'm not doing anything and I should tell myself I love you. You want to attach it to something that you're already doing. So brushing your teeth in the morning, you can say it to yourself then. If you're putting on moisturizer or whatever you're wanting to do, when you're at the mirror, that's when you want to say, I love you to yourself. And I want you guys to commit to doing that as well. So if you want to put in the comments, if you're committed to doing that, the more advanced version of that is also doing it to yourself naked. You don't have to do that if you're the beginner people who've been clients before, done workshops before with me. That's your added challenge, is to look at yourself when you get out of the shower or when you're changing your clothes in the morning and love yourself when you're naked, to expand into that, because we are the most incredible, magnificent souls in this world, living this beautiful human experience, and you chose your human vessel. You chose to experience life like this. You're empowered by this. It's not like, oh, I got stuck with this, like, fuck. It's, oh my gosh, I love my body, and my body has been my temple, and it's nourished me, and it's kept me alive, and it's kept me safe, and I've been able to like hug people and love people in my life and experience childbirth for mothers and incredible intimate experiences. There's so many things that our body has done for us. So to really add that gratitude in is really awesome as well, so that we can really vibrate at those higher frequencies. Like love is the highest vibrational frequency, which is amazing, and gratitude's right underneath it. So if you add those things into your life, you'll notice that you're more and more joyful, which is incredible. So I want to take the time to do a beautiful guided meditation with you guys that I went through, that I really found was like life-changing for seeing myself as like that beautiful soul in unconditional love. So I'm going to get you guys to just take a couple deep breaths and to shut your eyes. Make sure you're seated comfortably. Just take some deep cleansing breaths. And we're going to begin by moving all of our attention to our heart and feeling into that space. And we're going to visualize bright, iridescent white light, the most pure, unconditional love energy expanding fully, completely in your heart. And you can just envision that unconditional love expanding from your heart to encapsulate your entire body. And you can just soak it up. Take some deep breaths, feeling into that energy. And that's permeating every cell of your being, swirling all around you, protecting you, filling you up, keeping you safe. And you can thank this energy for the amazing feeling that you're experiencing. You can scan your body to notice any shifts. Notice if the energy needs to focus more intensely on any tension or any aches or pains. And have that unconditional love energy bring you so much peace and joy and healing. And you can just continue to visualize that light getting brighter and brighter all around you. And breathe into that amazing energy. And then in this beautiful, unconditional love energy, you're going to be guided upwards. And we're going to go higher and higher and higher, leaving the earth and traveling to Venus, completely safely wrapped in unconditional love. And when we get to Venus and land safely near this beautiful lake, you're going to be guided to walk over by this beautiful energy presence next to you. And this energy could be a guide, an angel, a spirit that you work with on your path. Many people love to see it as Mother Mary energy. That the Divine Mother is leading you to see your reflection in the beautiful waters. And you're now at the edge of the water looking in, and you're seeing the beauty of your soul. You're seeing your divine truth, your authenticity, your radiance, and your beauty. You're seeing your gifts and your intelligence, your divine blueprint. You're seeing all the beauty and the magic that is within you, and that is you right this second. And in your reflection, you're seeing the truth of everything that you are. You're able to rinse and let go of any of those old limiting beliefs that you're not good enough, that you're not thin enough, that you're not pretty enough, that you're not smart enough. All of these old labels, all of these old judgments that you've judged yourself on or that others have judged about you. You're rinsing them all off now. You're letting them go safely because they no longer serve you. And the Mother Mary energy beside you takes your hand and shows you in your reflection all the incredible gifts that are within you. She shows you the magic that's within you now, your beauty, your grace, your intelligence, your radiance, your innocence, your truth, and all the beauty that surrounds you in your physical form. And you gain her perspective of the incredible, unique soul that you are, this beautiful being. And you're able to see and witness your truth. And you're feeling all of your truth in every cell of your being. So you can truly, unconditionally love yourself exactly as you are right now. And it's being integrated into every cell of your being, into who you are. And your vibration, your frequency is matching this true unconditional love energy, so that when you return back to earth, you can always see it. You can know deep within you that you are beautiful and magnificent and radiant and pure unconditional love, and that you're here to love, to vibrate love, to show love, to express love, to love yourself and to love others. And that this trueness of your being is so much more than those old limiting beliefs around what a human body should look like, around unrealistic ideals, that those are being washed away. And you can truly tap into this feeling at any point in time, that you know truly on a deep level who you are as a soul on this earth. And that you have the confidence to show your truth, to shine your light, to be this being now on the planet. And you can look in the reflection of you once more and look deeply into it. And notice if there's any other gifts or insights you get at this time. And if you don't hear anything or don't see anything or don't feel anything right now, that's completely fine. Everything's in divine timing and you'll receive that later. So you can thank the guide that's beside you, that Mother Mary energy. Express your gratitude, your thanks. Then we're going to begin to travel back down to earth, safely encapsulated in that unconditional love energy. And we're going to bring our awareness back into the room and start by wiggling your fingers and your toes a little bit. You can open your eyes when you're ready, and you can take some deep cleansing breaths to really settle in. And if you want to share how that experience was for you, I encourage you to do so. Even if you're catching the replay and you want to put it in the comments, how you feel with that, if you got any gifts that you want to share, how you're feeling about that energy, let me know. I love hearing how people feel after that work. You might want to take a drink of water, sometimes coming back from that, and that healing and that shift of vibration, a little bit different from people to come back from. Okay, so then we're going to do some muscle testing about beliefs that you might have around loving yourself. So you can start with your imaginary $20 bill and repeat after me and then pull. So you can say, I love myself. I love myself unconditionally. I am empowered. So if that broke for you and you want to shift them, you never judge it. We never raised our hand and we're like, can I hate myself and not love myself? That'd be great. Those are subconscious limiting beliefs. So it's just good to know, because sometimes half of the solution is knowing the problem really clearly. So we're going to give some theta healing downloads for that. And we kind of envision theta healing as this your subconscious mind is this outdated laptop kind of thing where you have a gap in performance. It's not performing the way you want it to be. So on your computer, you would check yes and download new software. You're saying yes and theta healing to receive those downloads. So you do need to give your consent for the healings. And all you have to do is say yes. You can put it in the comments if you want. You can say it out loud if you want, whichever you're feeling more resonating with. And you can also shut your eyes through this. A lot of people like to just relax and shut their eyes through theta healing as well. Some people like to be awake and alert for their surrounding areas, so you can keep your eyes open. It's totally up to you. And I'm going to do this through your higher power. So again, if you call your higher power God, creator, source energy, the universe, angels, spirit guides, whatever you want to name your higher power, you can always, in your own head, substitute your verbiage out for that. But I'll use higher power whenever I'm in group settings, just that everyone can kind of have a standard name to use. And usually higher power is pretty neutral for everyone. And I'm just going to connect to your energy. See if there's anything else that needs to be downloaded along with these beautiful healing downloads. So do you want to know how you can love yourself, how you can love yourself unconditionally, what it looks like and what it feels like to love yourself unconditionally, and to release, let go of, and break your identities to hating yourself, to judging yourself, to feeling like you're unworthy, that you're not good enough, that you're not blank enough. So insert the common things that you say that you're not enough of: not smart enough, not pretty enough, not thin enough, not sexy enough, not whatever enough. That will clear those beliefs from you completely on all levels, and clear any other disempowered beliefs, any other victim thoughts or mindsets, and any abuse or trauma that you've suffered in your past that you're ready to release and let go of right now. You can say yes, and we'll release those. And you want to break the cords, contracts, commitments, vows, and obligations holding you to those. And if you want that, you can say yes. And you want to know that it's completely safe on all levels and time to love yourself. to truly, fully, completely love yourself without doing anything, without needing to output, to please someone else, to prove yourself, to do anything, to accomplish anything, that you, being a human being on this earth, makes you more than worthy and deserving of love, of loving yourself, unconditionally loving yourself, of receiving unconditional love from your higher power and from others in your life. And that you know that this is completely possible and safe on all levels. And that it's time for you to step into your love, that you know that you can say yes to it, and that you deserve to feel this unconditional love consistently in your life. If you would like that, you can say yes. And if you want to know what your relationships look like, what your career and your job and your day-to-day life and your interactions look like, loving yourself to this new level, experiencing this unconditional energy in your life, this pure unconditional love from your higher power and from other sources, and that you can receive this, and that you can extend and increase your capacity to receive this love in your life, that you can expand your heart center to receive more love, that you can open yourself up to more happiness, more joy, more bliss, more pleasure, more abundance, more freedom, and that you're choosing to say yes to it. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And do you want to be open to the possibility of unconditional love? That it's your birthright to receive and to be open and to currently receive deep, pure, unconditional love. And if you want that, you can say yes. And you want to know through your higher power that you're done learning your lessons through hardship, pain, suffering, and heartbreak, and loss and grief, and that those lessons are now ready to be marked as complete, that you're ready to move forward in your life, feeling unconditional love and choosing to learn your lessons going forward through love, ease, speed, grace, instead of hardship or pain or suffering. And if you want that, you can say yes. And you want to know what it looks like and feels like to live your life empowered, to know that it's safe to own your power, your passion, your truth in this world, and know what that looks like and feels like in your being. And if you would like that, you can say yes. And then you can muscle test those again. So you can repeat after me. I love myself. I love myself unconditionally. I am empowered. Awesome. So I want to know in the comments if that shifted for you guys. If anyone still has any issues with those, definitely let me know. And unconditional love means like you don't need to do your to-do list. Like I used to definitely beat myself up at the end of the day if I didn't get enough stuff done. And more days than not, as I'd complete things, I'd add like twice as many things. So I'd be like, oh, I need to do this and this and this and this and this, especially as an entrepreneur, as a like solopreneur, like someone who's owning their business by themselves. I used to have like all these million of ideas. And as I'd be productive, I'd add in more things. So at the end of the day, I would beat myself up over what I still had left to do. And that I'd always feel like overburdened by that. So in shifting this, I can wake up and decide that I'm not going to do anything all day long and not be productive and just love myself and do things for me and flow in joy and follow that guidance of what will bring me the most peace and joy and love today, and how can I show up as peace, joy, and love to others and just show up in that way. And that's more than good enough. So it's that perspective shift too, that my to-do list didn't own me. And your to-do list is a tool for you to empower you, just like our phones. It can be a good or bad thing. So it could be a tool that helps you. You don't want to feel like you're the slave to your to-do list or your phone or to other people's whims kind of thing. So then we'll get into some self-care things. So a big thing with self-care that I feel isn't always getting enough spotlight is that self-care is meant to fill up your cup. It's really truly meant for you to feel more happiness and joy and peace and rejuvenation in your life, instead of like, it's this new spiritual to-do list of drinking your green drink and going to yoga class and meditating and reading a book and this and this and this. If you don't enjoy doing it and it's not filling up your cup and you're making yourself go crazy with all this new to-do list stuff that you have to do, then that's not really self-care. It's not doing what it's intended to do. So it's very important to set your intention for self-care for things to fill yourself up. Like there's definitely going to be things like drinking smoothies and stuff where it's like, okay, like it's going to be good for my body, so I'm going to drink it until I get used to the like new taste of it. Like I used to be a very fussy eater, and now I love my smoothies. So that's where it's good and it's positive for you. And after trying new smoothies and different recipes and juices and wheatgrass shots a couple times, my taste buds got adapted to them. And then it was a good thing for me. So now I love doing it, and I can feel the difference in my body when I do nourish it with really good fruits and vegetables and more raw and organic and better sourced things. Like I can feel that difference in my body than the old me who was eating like pizza and junk food and stuff like that when I was like in my teenage years. Like there's a huge shift in my energy levels. So a big part of self-care is nourishing your body, is making sure that you're fueling your body, because all of our cells of our beings are made by what we put into it. So it's important to drink lots of water, to nourish your body with healthy snacks and food, and make sure that you find what works well for your body and go with that and keep making those little tweaks, because what works for you today might not work a month from now or a year from now or a decade from now. So always being open to those little shifts that nourishes your body so that you can wake up feeling energized, so you can take the time to move your body. So sometimes people like hard and fast exercise and weightlifting and all those things. And some people like just going for a walk in nature and getting some mindfulness in there too. So doing yoga or restorative yoga, moving your body in different ways that still moves it and nurtures it in very loving ways, that fills up your cup. Because there's so many things out there that you can do, and you can try and try and try new things and new things until you find what fits for you. Because I feel that what's getting lost in this translation of like the self-care trend is people are doing things just because it's worked for someone else. That some guru or book author said to do this, and they've been doing it for like 6 months now, and it's just like exhausting, and they're not getting lit up by it, and they just feel like they have to do this because this is what's working for their friend group or their mom or their sister or someone in their life, and it's not working for them. So trust that intuition, which we're again going to get into a little bit later, because knowing what's working for you is so, so important. Like you're the only you that there is. So you're the only one who knows exactly what works for your body. So self-care can be mindfulness. So that meditation that we're talking about, and meditation can be uncomfortable at the beginning. So like expect that. Just like going to the gym and like working out your muscles, that's uncomfortable at the beginning because it's getting used to new things. Same thing with meditation. So expect that there are going to be some growing pains with adding in any new habit into your life. But if you've been doing it and you've been doing it consistently, it might not be the best one for you if you're not like excited to do it in the morning. If you're not like so excited to do your evening routines. And I've had that. And I used to beat myself up totally over having amazing hour-and-a-half versions of like morning routines and then like not wanting to do them anymore. It's like that doesn't fill me up anymore. And it's totally part of the process to be like, yeah, like I don't enjoy these things like I used to, but now I like dance and like feminine energy dance and like singing light language and doing all these things that I didn't even have in my world when I was here. So yeah, I love doing these things now, and I'm open to it shifting and changing as I continue on this journey. So definitely leave that space in your life for the same thing so that you can really be filled up by it. And then there's the fun self-care, which is like the detox baths or like soaking your feet if you don't have a lot of time. It's super easy to soak your feet and like watch TV at the end of the night. So like that's something that you can do that doesn't take a lot of time. You can schedule in self-care for like massages or healing treatments for Reiki, whatever you want to do. I also really encourage people to get into a healing modality that they're resonating with so that they can also do exchanges with other people. Like I got into Reiki at the beginning just for myself. Like I wanted to be able to give myself Reiki treatments at night. And when I got into these like light worker communities, excuse me, it was really awesome because there's exchanges when you're in this amazing community. So you can exchange like a Reiki session for a theta healing session, or a Reiki session for a Reiki session, or like a Reiki session for a reflexology session. Like you can get into these beautiful networks and not have to spend a lot of money at the beginning to get really awesome self-care and to do really awesome things with friends. So you're creating awesome networks and you're spending time with people that light you up. So there's so many benefits of doing it that way. And another thing I really like to share with people is that you can do your old self-care things that might not be the best self-care things, especially if you're noticing that your energy is really low and you're like, fuck, I'm in this downward spiral. Oh my God, I'm just aware of my downward spiral. Congratulate yourself. Like, yay, I just realized that I'm in a downward spiral and like things keep like piling on and it's getting worse and worse. Yay, I'm acknowledging it. I'm going to do something to shift it, to shift my energy right now. So instead of beating yourself up, which is what people tend to do, acknowledge it. It's a success. You're bringing awareness to the fact that you don't want to be living like this. So then to get back to neutral, make a self-care list that has restricted amounts on it or restricted time on it. So some people used to numb it with like a bottle of wine every night. So on your self-care list that I don't like using the word bad, but like your bad self-care list, you can have like one glass of wine or like 2 hours of TV so that you have these things that you can go to when you're in that really low point to get you back to neutral. Because when you're here, you probably don't really want to like go for a 1 hour yoga class. People who are here are just like, I need the little pick-me-ups. I like to use like essential oils to like just smell to get me out of like that funk that I was in to feel a little bit better. You can just drink some water. You can have like a chocolate bar and not like all of the chocolate bars or like a portion thing of chips, like whatever you put ahead of time as your like restricted amount of like more negative self-care things you can do. And then you'll be at your neutral and be like, okay, I could totally like do a Reiki treatment on myself now. I could definitely meditate or journal about this now. I have enough energy and enough stuff in my cup that I can do the positive self-care things. So at the beginning, I really encourage people to have that on a list so that your more negative things are on one side and your really positive things are on the other side. So you can see the tools that you have at your disposal when you're in that energy to be like, okay, how am I going to be better now? How am I going to be more joyful now that I have this awareness? And yay, I have the awareness. So instead of believing the ego mind that you screwed up and that you're a failure and that you're going through this is bad, like life isn't linear. You don't get on this healing journey and everything's fucking amazing. Every day gets better than the last day. Life is in cycles. Same thing with women, especially. And I feel like the majority of the people who signed up for this were women. So I'm going to talk about feminine energy because that's what I work with all the time in my clients is the feminine energy and that we're in cycles. Like our bodies literally as women are in cycles. There's certain times in the month where we're bleeding. And that's more for me personally and for a lot of other women tends to be very inward and focusing on myself. And I am aware of this, that there's a cycle with this all. So on those days in the month, I don't really do much. I don't plan to work on projects. I have some clients scheduled in who are my consistent clients. And other than that, I don't do much work. I do a lot of self-care on myself and I let myself rest and I let my body tell me what it needs. And I do those things. I go in that flow, that divine inspired action during those times of the month. And I used to completely beat myself up that like I could do 8-hour days sometimes and not here. And then I could do 12-hour days when I'm super, super in flow. And like when you kind of map that out and you can figure that out for yourself, we have really amazing creative points in our month as well, where we can just like go all day long and be in like this amazing creative power energy. Cause like we're more fertile. Like we have all these things happening internally and we're connected with the moon and all the different cycles on so many ways. And I can get more into that at another time as well. But there's just so much power that we have, especially as women, to connect with those cycles and to really gain the power that those cycles have, instead of beating ourselves up that we're not acting like men do in those cycles. Like, I used to totally beat myself up that in most of the masculine energy world that there is for coaching and owning a business right now is perpetuated around the like work really hard, go, 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 output, output, output all the time. And that's not what the feminine energy is about. The feminine energy is about receiving and going with the flow and trusting and being guided and open to things being this or better all the time. And the more I've allowed that flow in my life, the more extraordinary it's been. Like, literally, I'll have my day and like, this is how my day is planned. Like, this is how it's like booked in my calendar with clients and different things. And I'm very open to it being this or better. I'm very flexible with it, because sometimes like this gets rescheduled and then I'm talking to someone at this point and, oh my gosh, it was the perfect timing because I had lunch at this exact time. I ran into this person and had this awesome opportunity, and I got home and the bell person was there and they gave me like a better rate on internet and home stuff, and like literally like caught him as he was going out the door because he was like done with the building. And like all these like the most incredible divine synchronicities and timings happen in my life when I open it up to this or better and trust my guidance and trust that gut feeling of I'm going to go with the flow and receive the incredible gifts that are just for me every single day. So that's a big mindset shift. And I got a little bit into the feminine energy piece, but that's beautiful because it's a part of that self-care by trusting those cycles, because it's not like every day is awesome. It cycles. Like, it gets really good, and then there's some like learning lessons and our energy's lower, or something happens, or we're triggered, and it's like this and then this. It's like up and down, but it's progressively getting higher. Like, sometimes it'll be down and then really high. Like, your life is very unique and individual to yourself, but I have yet to learn of or come across a person who's just like, woo! Like, it tends to be that upward, downward spiral, but it gets higher and higher and better with these lessons that we're learning. And there's also really awesome times and like down. So it's very unique to yourself. And I feel like a lot of people have this perfectionist tendency that it has to be this all the time and it has to be 110% all the time. And that's impossible. Even mentors like the Vienna is the creator of Theta Healing, and she has said and been given like 93%, aiming for like 93% happiness is like an awesome goal, because you're never going to get it 100% all the time, all day long. We're human beings. We feel emotions, and our emotions have to move. And there isn't something bad about being sad or angry. Those have their place in this human experience that we're having as well. So all of these things are very important for us to be aware of. And then we'll get into some muscle testing for self-care. So if you have your imaginary $20 bill, you can muscle test with me. Self-care is selfish. I have time for self-care. I am a priority in my life. And we'll also give some healing downloads for those as well. So do you want to know what it looks like and feels like to have your higher powers, truth, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of self-care? What self-care looks like and feels like for you in your life right now? And how to move in inspired action to bring more balance, harmony, and alignment into your self-care routine, into building self-care routines, into building new habits into your life, into learning new skills or tools, into adding new tools to your toolbox, and that you know that it's completely safe on all levels to create the space in your life for self-care, to prioritize it, to put it first, and to live without feeling like you're putting someone else on the back burner by doing that, to understand on a deep level and have a knowing of the crucialness of self-care in your life, how when self-care enters your life and is a priority, everything else will be more balanced, it'll be more peaceful, things will flow better. And that is because of the self-care and the priority that you've put on self-care. And if you would like all of that through your higher power, you can say yes. And you want to release and let go of any old baggage, emotion, junk, negative thoughts or frequencies that no longer serve you, especially around self-care, your beliefs around what it looks like and feels like to take care of yourself, how hard it will be, how time-consuming it'll be, and that you can be aware of your main excuses that have held you back in self-care through your higher power, so you can release and let them go now as they're no longer serving your highest and best good. And if you would like that, you can say yes. And if you want to forgive and let go of any negative thoughts or feelings that you've had about yourself or others that have prevented you from having self-care, release any old regrets, resentment, grudges, or jealousy around other people, you can say yes to release those as well. And you want to break the belief that self-care is selfish, that taking time for yourself is selfish, and that you will be bitchy or mean or have to say no all the time or be rejected by taking care of yourself first. And if you would like that through your higher power, you can say yes. And you want to know who you are and what your life looks like as the highest and best version of yourself, and how to move in inspired action in comfortable baby steps to get from where you're currently at to where you want to be. How you can trust your intuition, the guidance that you receive, your gut feeling, that you can flow in your life, that you can find what works best for you so that you can be in alignment and in balance and harmony with your truth, with your authentic self, with your desires, and with your dream life. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And then we'll muscle test again with your $20 bill. Self-care is selfish. I have time for self-care. I'm a priority in my life. And let me know in the comments as well if those all switched for you. I want to make sure that those are cleared up for you guys. And also some self-care excuses came up, and that can sometimes be a little bit deeper of a route to clear. So if any of those didn't clear and you're like, oh, this is really holding me back, I had done in my Be Your Best Self community, that's also a free community on Facebook, a deeper healing and a clearing on self-care excuses. So I think I'll put that in the link of the email that I send out or on the link of the YouTube video. I'll put that because the excuses video came up for a couple people. So if you haven't had a chance to do that, and that's been like in the back of your head, I'd recommend definitely watching that for those of you who might have that little nudge. This is me being stronger than that little nudge, being like, you need to do this. This will help you incorporate self-care into your life. So I'll link that excuses video for sure. Yeah, and everyone who's feeling called to that, I really encourage you to go follow that nudge. So something that's really important about our intuition is that we use it. Like it's just like any other muscle, just like going to the gym will strengthen your bicep. The more you use it, the stronger it'll get. The clearer your signs will be, the more you'll have that knowing in yourself. So muscle testing is really awesome if you want to like deepen that connection with your subconscious mind. And if you've done theta healing before and you want to like make sure that you can like muscle test as your higher power to understand your like highest and best path for some things, that's really awesome to do and get in the habit of playing with that more. I was talking earlier today on the Love and Light show that it's really interesting that people fear almost like trusting their intuition, but you can do like zero risk scenarios with your intuition. One of the first things that I did when I started to really play with it and just like play with it all the time whenever I felt called was I literally was in a building that had like 4 different elevators that could come. And I trusted my intuition. I was like, okay, which elevator is going to come first? And I'd stand in front of the elevator that I thought was going to come first. Literally, zero risk. An elevator is going to open and people are going to walk into the open elevator. Like, there's no risk in just trying that out. And the more you can be playful with it in those zero risk scenarios, the more you'll trust it and be like, oh my gosh, like I'm getting a lot of like hits, like celebrate those wins. Be like, yes, I knew it. I totally knew this elevator door was going to open first, or like that this was going to happen, or that was going to happen. And to just go with that, because that's how you'll have that personal connection with your intuition, how you'll know that that gut feeling is right for you and have that knowingness in your life. So you'll be able to surrender more. You'll be able to surrender to the guidance that you're getting all day long, that you're so connected with. We are this oneness energy. There's no like division in it. And that can sometimes be hard for people to wrap their minds around, but like, we are all one with the universe. Like, all of this is all connected. And just like our body is so intricately connected, like the whole universe is done as well. Like, if there's one thing out of whack in our body, everything else is affected. Like, people who understand like alignment and body, and if you've ever had a pain like chiropractically, like if your hips out of balance, then like this will try to overcompensate for it, and then this will get all screwed up. Like, it's so holistic, this body and this world that we're living in. So trusting your intuition to tell you things and then following it. Like, sometimes you can be really playful with it and have like an adventure on a weekend and be like, I don't have a plan, but I'm just going to like follow my intuition. And you can set your intention for things. You can ask for guidance and say, what's my next best step? Sometimes meditating is really helpful for that, to really get clear on that voice and to like trust that feeling more, and to not negate it if it's not like a voice, because that used to be a thing that I would have trouble with because I'm an empath. So I feel things very strongly. So the feeling and my clear cognizance, the knowing, came first before like words or like seeing things. And other people see things and that's beautiful, and other people hear things, that's beautiful. So it's just being excited and also very grateful for all the gifts that you have, and to be so grateful for your intuition, because we all kind of get the like, this is a sketchy person vibe. Like, we have been in a dark street before and been like, I'm not going to walk down that street. Like, we have intuition all the time, and it's just trusting that and tapping into it, which will grow stronger and stronger for us and lead these amazing doors of opportunity in our life and more gifts in our life, and the truth of who we are being presented to ourselves, like for us to shine our lights brighter and have the deepest desires of our hearts being fulfilled by showing up how we're being guided to show up and doing the things that we're being guided to do. And that leads to like so many incredible experiences time after time after time. So I encourage you guys to do whatever you're feeling most called to do for your intuition. And you can ask, you can even take a deep breath now and say, what is my next best step? You can get really clear on it and be like, what's my next best step from this masterclass? And see what one thing you're going to implement from it. If you're going to start with that self-care, a certain thing that really resonated with you, or if you're going to start with self-love and say, I love you every day, or an affirmation, if that comes up for you. And I'd be very interested to hear in the comments below what your next step is, if you want to share what you're being inspired to do. And then we're going to integrate all those changes. I could also offer you guys a general healing for whatever else is ready to be healed in your body right now, and fill you up with your higher power's unconditional love, compassion, joy, and happiness. And if you would like that, you can say yes. And then you guys can take a couple deep cleansing breaths. Then you can check into your body, see how you're feeling. Awesome. And let me know in the comments if you want to share how you're feeling after all that. How that energy felt moving through your body. And then I want to share with you guys some upcoming opportunities that you guys could be a part of if you're feeling called to working with me to move forward on your journey, to help and support you wherever you're at in your life right now. So I will be offering a group coaching program, but I'm also opening up enrollment to some of my one-on-one spaces. So people who do want that one-on-one support with me as your mentor and your guide, your coach, your theta healer, to help and support you in deepening this connection to yourself and in moving forward on your journey to all of your desires and dreams and living that life consistently and having joy and freedom and bliss and abundance in your life consistently. You're ready to move forward in that amazing, beautiful journey. I am here to support you. So I'm offering some clarity calls for people who are ready to do that one-on-one support. Because like I said earlier, I work with those people who are 10 out of 10 committed. So I want to make sure that we're the best fit for each other before we decide that we're going to move forward working together. But these are the typical benefits that people have. So you'll gain that one-on-one support for different types of sessions. So sometimes 6 sessions is the best fit for people, sometimes 12 or even 15. You'll have the accountability that you need to achieve your goals. You'll get the objectivity you need by having a third party to see your patterns and your blocks, what's been holding you back or keeping you stuck. Get a little bit more clarity on where that gap is from where you're at and where you want to be. And we'll close that gap so that you can make sure that you are living your desires now, that you aren't putting it off for another year or 10 years, that you're actually living the life of your dreams and that you can own it. You can own what your deep desires are and that you're unfulfilled in these certain ways and that you want to shift it, that you want to have more love in your life now, to have a partner, to have a career like this, to live in that instead of always putting off your happiness or putting other people before your happiness. You'll gain my expertise to help you form new, fulfilling, and joyful self-care rituals like we were talking about, the ones that fill you up and make sure that you're serving from an overflow of that cup instead of feeling like you're run down all the time, that you're exhausted or that you're tired, you're stressed out or you're overwhelmed. We don't want you living in those states. And then you'll be committed to moving your life forward. So the results that people get are that they really truly love themselves. We do even more work on that unconditional love for ourselves so that you truly see that when you look in the mirror, so that you can live your life with so much self-esteem, self-confidence, and freedom around your appearance and how you show up in the world, and that you can truly shine your light because the world needs your light. You were put on this earth for very unique, amazing things that only you can do, so the world needs you to show up exactly as you. And you need you to show up exactly as you so you can have the most joyful life that you can possibly have. So we'll clear the limiting beliefs that have been holding you back along that journey as well. We'll use a lot of that muscle testing to discover some of those beliefs. A lot of people find that they have lower stress, they're not really worried as much, they're rarely anxious, and they're not in that overwhelmed state anymore. So that feels really good. You have more time and freedom for yourself, your true passions and your ideal life and your relationships in it. You'll also feel like you're being filled up consistently with those beautiful self-care habits. You'll have that overflow feeling, which is amazing. You'll also have a beautiful positive mindset from this. We're going to work on quieting the ego and move your control and your power back to yourself so that negative voice in your head doesn't have power and you're not listening to that on repeat that causes those downward spirals. This all raises your vibrations so you can attract more of what you're truly desiring in your life because then your vibration will match to it. And like attracts like. So if you're in a bunch of negative thoughts, you'll attract negative situations. If you're in really awesome, amazing, loving, gratitude-filled states in your life, then you attract those beautiful, incredible gifts and opportunities into your life. So make sure you're a vibrational match to where you're desiring to be. And this all moves you forward towards your dream happy life very quickly. So it's been incredible working with my clients and moving them forward and seeing the shifts and the transformations that they've experienced. And I'm so excited to open up more spaces this fall with new people. So there's different options available for people. There's Premium Dream Life Program, and that's 15 weeks of sessions, 3 check-in calls, up to 30 minutes, and also email accountability. So those are more for the people who want a little bit of extra hand-holding along their journey. They're committed to showing up and doing the homework and showing up to the sessions and being open and vulnerable and truthful and getting rid of the shit that's no longer serving them. But they also want that accountability in between of extra support and email. So this tends to be more for my clients who are at their breaking point or in that burnout mode where they're like, I really need extra help. Like I need that extra little bit of support between sessions to get me through. And then most of my clients tend to go for the Joyous Living program. So that's 12 weeks of transformational sessions that'll move you forward to your life. So that's $1,500. And then my Happy Living program is also pretty popular too. And that's for people who want to get their feet wet. Sometimes people do that as a beginning step and then continue on with another 6 weeks. That's another possibility that sometimes people choose to do. And that's $800. So that makes sure that you're committed to yourself. You're not just gonna like leave it open to you being like, yeah, I'm gonna like do this class, so maybe I'll read that book. Like people who tend to be in that energy feel like there's something missing. Like I have some people who are like, okay, I've read the books, I've done this like free webinar, and then I did this free webinar, and then I did this masterclass, and like it's not working. So I feel like the missing piece for some people is implementation, and having someone there who can guide you on your journey is so beneficial to actually seeing the results that you're wanting, to having that transformation in your life instead of just knowing it consciously and not having anything implemented in your life or transition in your life because you're just still living in that old paradigm where you were originally. You just also have this new knowledge that it's not really working for you. So that can sometimes really frustrate people. So if you're feeling called to those one-on-one sessions with me, definitely let me know. And I'm also opening up some group coaching and healing programs. So that'll start on September 24th, and we're going to do it for 6 weeks. So it'll be the last week of September and all of October to really shift and transform into more of a joyous life for everyone involved. So that's going to be all women. So if you're not feeling called to the one-on-one sessions and you're like, yes, I want all of these benefits and all of these results in that 6-week group program, and it's all women. So sorry, men, if there's anyone catching the replay who's feeling called to working with me, that'll be a one-on-one option, but we're not doing that for the group just because I really enjoy doing groups as the sisterhood environment of having this beautiful transformative container of transformation and change and nurturing and love for like that goddess rising energy, this like divine feminine energy that's awakening and being lit up in so many of us. And we love being nurtured by our fellow sisters in this world. So I'm also opening up 10 spaces for that group coaching program that'll begin on September 24th so that we can all go on this journey together. So it'll be a little bit more affordable. That's $497 so that you can ensure that you're getting the results that you want. And you can have access to me also in a private Facebook group. So we'll have a private community for those 10 women who sign up so that we ensure that everyone has the accountability that they need. So if you're wanting to make updates in the group about how you're implementing new changes or you're doing really good on your like new self-care habit or ritual and like you want to post about that, you can totally do that. I am also live in that group as well. So if you have like, the calls will be on a Monday. So if on Tuesday, for example, you hit this like big roadblock and you're like, oh my gosh, this limiting belief came up, I also do lives in my group coaching programs in those private Facebook communities that'll help you out between calls. So the way that the calls work is that they'll be every single Monday and everyone can join live on Zoom, and they're also recorded so you can catch the replay after, or you can send in your questions if you know ahead of time if you're not going to be there live and you want to make sure that all your questions or your updates are being addressed in that live Zoom call, then you can definitely feel called to doing that. If you have any questions, because sometimes people aren't really familiar with that group setting for coaching. So if you have any questions with that, definitely feel free to reach out. And those calls will include tons of lessons, a lot of healing energy. We're going to get into the limiting beliefs that are holding us back in all the different ways. And I'm also going to send out right before we begin in September 24th. I need to get that more in my brain. Before we start on September 24th, I'm also going to send out little workbooks for people to fill in, just so that I get more clear on where exactly you're at in your life. Because even though it's not that one-on-one attention, I want to make sure that everyone's being seen and that I'm witnessing your transformations and changes and ensuring that you're moving forward for your particular goals and intentions in the group. And especially if you're desiring those new self-care habits, 6 weeks is a beautiful amount of time to see those shifts in you and to start really feel comfortable with making those changes in your life and changes in those routines that you have right now that might not be serving you, that you're ready to up level. So if that's calling your name, definitely let me know. And I'll put in the link of the replay, all of the information of those. And because I love to reward my kind of old version of my straight A students, like my keeners is what I like to call them. Because I like to reward my keeners, I also have some fast action bonuses. So everyone who wants to sign up within the next 48 hours is also going to get the beginner workshop, How to Live Your Happiest Life Now. So to get some new foundations into your life. And I'm also going to add in a 1-hour call with me. So if you're going to do the group, that'll be the extra bonuses, the workshops, and the one-on-one session with me as an extra. So you can do that. Usually people tend to do that at the end of it so that they can kind of implement those changes, then do a little extra call with me at the end. Sometimes people like to do it during so that they have a little bit of extra support on their journey. And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm making these transformations. And sometimes when you change your life, some parts of your life feel like they're blowing up. So you're creating space for all this new amazing energy. Sometimes they like to use that call then and just get a little extra support, especially if you want things private. And I also do take anonymous questions in that as well. So if you ever have any questions in that group program that you don't want to be shared with anyone else, definitely feel free to share them with me, because time after time in workshops and group sessions that I do, if one person has that question, other people do. You can always feel free to let me know anonymously those questions as well, and I address those on the calls or on live videos to support you guys. Just make sure that you're always being really nurtured and taken care of, because I want to see you guys transform and shift and change into the best versions of yourself and to live your desires, to really feel like you have the complete control of your life to do it and to start stepping into that, which is beautiful to see. So if you're feeling called to either of those, that 48-hour bonus is going to be available if you want to do the one-on-one sessions as well. The only catch to the one-on-one sessions is that you have to do a clarity call with me first, because I love to connect with those people to make sure it's a really great fit for both of us, that you're 10 out of 10 committed, and I know that it's going to be beautiful to connect with you on that journey. So definitely feel free to reach out. I'll put the link for my clarity calls in the email as well that you're going to get the replay for, so that everyone can get it very soon. And then the group program, I'll also send the link so you guys can get into that. So it's first come, first serve. That's the best fit for all of these, just that everyone who vibrates with the same energy is with everyone, and that everyone has the most beautiful space and supportive growth environment to move forward on their journeys. So that's what I'm all about. If any of those are resonating with you and you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to me, and I will support you in any questions that you have. No question is a dumb question. Sometimes people are like, I know I should probably know how this works, but I don't. Like, how would this work? Let me know if you have any questions at all. I'm an open book. And we'll definitely get you moving forward on whatever you need to on your journey to make your best life a thing right now. And I want to really congratulate and acknowledge you guys for showing up to this call, for taking time for yourself, for raising your frequency, because you truly are doing an amazing gift, not just for yourself, but the whole world, by being here, by choosing to do this work, by going on this beautiful spiritual journey. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for taking the time for yourself. And definitely commit to yourself. Even if you're like, I'm not ready to move forward on any of these programs, remember that thing that you're committed to doing. I really, really, really want to see you grow and change and expand on this journey. So that one thing that was coming as this is my next best step, I need to do this. Commit to doing that. Write it on your calendar. Do whatever you need to make sure that you have built the foundations you need around it to make the better life that you're here for, that you're desiring to get to. So I'm sending you guys so much love and light, and I'm wishing you a wonderful night. Bye.